Pets. Pets by Anna Ratzenberger, illustrated by Elizabeth Webb, a.k.a. Marjorie Cooper. It was pet day at school. Miss Kelly had said the boys and girls could tell about their pets, how they took care of them, what they fed them, how they trained them. On her desk was a fuzzy little yellow duck in a shoebox. The children clustered around it. "Will the duck be on the program?" they asked. Miss Kelly laughed. "The duck is my pet. Whoever gives the best talk may take my duck home for an overnight visit. She likes to run around and catch bugs. She loves to swim in a tub of water, and she eats crushed grain and insects." "Quack, quack," said the little duck. She had such bright, beady black eyes and was so soft and downy that everybody loved her. "And now it is time for the program," said Miss Kelly. "You may tell us about your pet first, John." "His name is Rocky," said John, lifting up a turtle out of a box. "I painted these red and green spots on his back, but too much paint is bad for his shell. He likes to burrow in sand and to swim. He likes sunshine. Sometimes he stays in the shade, but he doesn't like to get too cold. I feed him lettuce and chopped raw meat and worms and snails and bugs." "My cat sleeps in a basket," said Dolly May, "and I change her bedding every week. We keep a log of soft wood in the house for her to scratch on. I feed her twice a day. Lean meat and fish and liver are good for her. Chopped vegetables, too, and plenty of fresh water and milk. I brush her every day. My cat likes to play with a catnip mouse or ball of tin foil." "My goldfish live in a large tank," Sally explained. "In the bottom I keep sand and pebbles and pretty little green plants. My fish eat fish food we buy at the store, and soaked rice and grated apple and carrot. I change the water by dipping out some and adding fresh water a little at a time. I like to watch my fish swimming." When it was Billy's turn, he galloped up the aisle like a horse. All the children laughed. They knew Billy's pet was a pony. "My Shetland pony is named Toby. He likes to stay in the pasture so he can run around and nibble grass and lick the salt block. He eats 3 meals a day, and he wants them on time. Lots of oats, sometimes cabbage and apple or carrot, and plenty of water. He loves sugar, too. I curry him with a hard brush every day until he is as shiny as a new penny." "My pet is a hamster," Todd told the class. "He is 6 inches long and has golden fur. He lives in a box 12 inches square and has a screened-in yard the same size. I change the sawdust in the floor every week. Sometimes I let him out to run around the room for exercise. He likes to eat almost everything and licks water from a glass tube in a bottle. He likes the same playthings mice like and a revolving wheel." "I played records of songbirds, and my canary learned to sing from them," Peter began. "I keep him in a big cage near the window. He will eat right out of my hand, birdseed and lettuce and apple, and sometimes a piece of cuttlefish bone. Sometimes I let him fly around the room. If he won't fly back to his cage, I drop a cloth over him to catch him. When his claws get long, I trim them." Dick had brought his rabbit to school, and he stroked its soft fur while he talked. "I made a house for Mr. Bunny of wire netting to keep out dogs and rats. I put in some twigs and bark for him to gnaw on. He gets 2 meals a day, carrots and grass and dandelions, and maybe some corn. He needs a pan of water and a lump of salt. I picked him up by the back of his neck, never by his ears. He loves to be petted." "When my dog was a tiny puppy," Bobby told the class, "I fed him 4 times a day. Now he just gets 2 meals, meat and raw bones and green vegetables and dog biscuits. I always keep a pan of fresh water for him on the porch." "When I got my dog, I named him Skippy. A dog should learn his name right away and learn to obey. My dog used to run away from home when the church bell rang and wait for me to come out of Sunday school, so everybody called him Deacon. But I slapped him lightly with a newspaper and taught him to stay at home. Now he is a good dog." A clatter of sharp toenails on the hall floor interrupted the talk, and Deacon came scampering in. When he found Bobby, his tail wagged and wagged. "You naughty dog," Bobby cried. "I just said you were good, and now look at you." But he was hugging Deacon, and Deacon was looking at Bobby with eyes full of love. When everyone had stopped laughing, Miss Kelly said, "Now we have one more speech." All the children looked surprised. Everyone in the room had already given a talk. Miss Kelly smiled and walked to the telephone. Soon the children heard the voice of Peggy, who had a cold and had to stay home that day. "This is Peggy. My pet is a blue parakeet named Pretty Boy. Sometimes he stays in his cage, but most of the time he flies around the room or sits on my shoulder. He likes to swing on the perch in his cage. I keep white sand on the bottom of his cage and change it every day. I keep clean, fresh water in his dish all the time. Pretty Boy eats canary seed and sunflower seed and lettuce and nuts. Every day I talk to Pretty Boy. At first I said one short word to him over and over. When he learned that, I taught him another and then another. He doesn't know what the words mean, and sometimes he says them in the wrong place. Now I will let Pretty Boy talk to you." "Well, well, well. Goodbye. Hello. I'm Pretty Bird. Program, program," was the speech the parakeet made. After Peggy had told the class goodbye, all the children clapped and clapped. The little duck quacked and flapped her wings. Deacon barked joyously and ran around the room. He thought everyone was glad he was there. Finally, Bobby made Deacon lie down by his desk. When the room was quiet again, Miss Kelly asked, "Now, who do you think gave the best talk?" "Peggy!" shouted all the children together. "She gave her talk even though she couldn't come to school today," said Todd. "She told more about her pet," said Sally. "And she explained just how she trained Pretty Boy to talk," said Peter. Miss Kelly nodded. "I think so too," she said, "and so I am going to let my duck go to Peggy's house for a visit tonight. I am sorry she could not hear the rest of our fine program today." When Billy, who lived next door, carried the duck to Peggy's house, she smiled happily. But it was Pretty Boy who squawked, thank you, goodbye," as he looked at the fuzzy little duck. Maybe he thought he was the one who had made the best speech. The end.